here with us today, live and in studio, is the one and only Theresa Plaisance. She is one of 144 world champion WNBA player.
Wow.
Does that feel weird to hear?
I've gotten used to it over the last couple month. Yeah. It seems like a while, but we were kind of over it after like 4 days of hard celebration. We were just kind of tired of the championship. Like, you train to win championships. You just don't train for the aftermath. I think that was the hardest part for all of us.
What was the aftermath like?
Just like a big blur, a hangover.
You're still kind of going through it now, right?
We're like nursing off of it.
Okay.
We're like coming down from that. It was like really fun. And in the moment, you're just like, you're winners. You want to like push through. You want to be a part of every celebration. Just like be there and be 100% fully invested like we were the entire season. So why not, go hard for the celebration? And it was a lot harder to do than I expected. A lot of us kind of pooped out early.
Yeah.
It was we're more so basketball players than partiers, I would say.
So I want to ask, if that's okay, a bunch of questions not related to basketball.
Cool with that.
And like, I'm sure people won't.
I'm a one-trick pony, but we can.
But
take me out to pasture.
To be fair, the reason why is because this whole thing was unexpected. We had someone earlier that surprisingly and funny enough, is also in professional sports, and that didn't work out. We had to reschedule, and you were here producing that show. For fun, like a guest producer. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Ashley's like, you know what? Why don't you be on? So thank you.
So here we are.
I can do a lot producing, and, being now in front of the camera, it's a different, side of it, quite literally.
So the question I was actually going to ask has it been, for lack of better words, like, have you guys all been lost since you won? When I say lost, I mean like, what's next? Like, really, what's next? What do we do?
After you win the championship, it's kind of like, now what?
Yeah, right.
And you just like, you accomplish the most exciting thing you can do in your profession. And I guess the next thing you can do is just do it all over again. But in the time being, there's like, you're kind of just like waiting in space. There's not really much to do. You have to just like wait a bunch of time to train to get ready for that moment again. But it's just kind of like very exciting, and you don't know what to do with it because there's nowhere to go with it. It's just, we don't even have our rings yet. You can't even show that off.
Yeah. So it's still super, super fresh.
Super fresh.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that the ring is still being thought up in everybody's minds of what it's going to look like. It's not even like a tangible item.
Yeah.
So we're all really excited for that day where we can actually put it on and just recap the whole season and talk about all of our inside jokes and rehash all the good stuff that not everybody remembers, but that one person will spark that memory for everybody, and hopefully we can just get that ladder going.
Yeah.
That's exciting. How long have you played in the W?
I just completed my 9th season in the WNBA.
Where have you played?
I played for a lot of teams. I was originally drafted to the Tulsa Shock, which is no longer a team.
I was going to say, what is that?
They are no longer a team. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain?
Yes, and where the Shock rocked.
Okay.
We rocked the Shock in Tulsa. We were in Tulsa for 2 years. Then we relocated to Dallas, and now that team is now known as the Dallas Wings. I was with the Wings for a few years, and then I got traded to the Connecticut Sun, where I spent the rest of that half season that I got traded and completed another season with them. Then I played 1 year for the Washington Mystics. And then...
Where do these names come from? That sounds so ignorant.
I don't know.
Like,
a lot of
sounds
comedians...
like some wilding out name.
A lot of comedians make a lot of really good WNBA joke names.
Okay.
Or name jokes. So, yeah, I think we just kind of like pull it out of nowhere.
It feels like the creative department, the one that smokes and takes mushrooms and all that, they were in charge of the WNBA name. Not to make a joke, but like...
I think maybe like the Dallas Wings, they got a little hungry in that thought process.
Or they get a case of...
Oh, you meant wing like chicken.
Somebody
I got it.
On Twitter, when the Wings announced that was going to be our name change, somebody actually like retweeted at them and was just like, I think we've eaten there before. at the Dallas Wings.
See, someone got a case of the fuckets actually, and they're like, "What do we call this thing?" Like, I don't know, just the wings.
Whatever.
Yeah,
We'll roll with it.
Where else have you played?
Vegas was my last and final destination. And we'll see where free agency takes me next season.
Now I know you're not going to stay in Vegas long term,
I love Vegas.
but
No, wait, pause.
Go ahead.
So I know this because I know Theresa.
Yes.
Theresa loves it here.
No, I know.
Like,
I'm not.
You know,
saying
when
that.
we talk about like Rick and Rick's desperate love for being here, that's very much Theresa also. She like enjoys being here.
I really love Vegas because I just feel like it's a special place. New Orleans, and I feel like it's very similar to my hometown.
That's why. So let me clarify before you go on. That's kind of why I was saying it, because yes, I'm very proud to stand up for you in saying that you genuinely love my hometown.
Yep.
But that's not super long term down the road. I know, and that's actually what I wanted to ask you about. Was like your hometown, like where you're from, and all that, and the whole just all that connection. But I want to hear actually. Did you already ask something about it? About coming here and just living here and what that's been like.
No, well, no, you were here. What has it been like living here?
Yeah.
So when I first arrived into Vegas, obviously we played here just stepping a few days at a time. But living here was different for me. I've never been in consistent 100 teens weather. So sprinting inside to get just freezer blasted by every building was the concept of like people wearing sweatshirts in Vegas in the summer. I never really understood until living here for like a day. And I was like, yeah, let me start carrying on a sweatshirt because
it's super cold.
It's
inside.
drastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
the temperature.
polar
That's
opposites.
crazy.
So I had to get used to that. But what I really love about Vegas, just like not knowing much about it before coming here, is the fact that it's very similar to New Orleans in the sense that it's like a small place, but it has like big city energy. Like New Orleans is a small city, but it's like big city energy. People come to New Orleans for the attitude and the people and the fun and the food. And I feel like that's what people come to Vegas for as well.
What are you most proud of about your hometown?
I just like the diversity and just like how everyone is kind of accepted to be themselves in New Orleans. It's a very unique place, and you could just be like unapologetically yourself and people will just like take you for face value. And that's what I really love most about where I'm from.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
It's a cool place. And I highly recommend you going, especially if we have any seafood lovers or just people that enjoy alcohol. There's a ton of that there. And also my family, I don't want to brag or anything, but my dad.
Is the best part of New Orleans?
My parents are the best part about New Orleans. My parents can cook very well. I'm very much so looking forward to this home cooked meal that I'm going to get on Thanksgiving. But on top of anything, boiled seafood is a big, big thing in New Orleans, and there's nobody that does it better than my dad. So shout out to Papa Scott Plaisance. He really does his thing on the crab, shrimp, and crawfish boils.
Can I ask an ignorant question?
Let's do it.
What would be considered a proper, because I've never been there, a crab boil, seafood boil, whatever you just said?
If your lips are tingling when you walk away from just like the spice of the boil, then it's done right.
You're talking about the thing, just so for me. You cook it all in one big ass pot, dump it all on the table. Sometimes I see it in a bag.
Yep.
And people just open it up and just with the corn cobs and all the other extra stuff. That's where it's okay.
Accoutrements. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what happens. They take some live aliens that are just like in this mesh bag and they're like stuck like that. Right. As a kid,
the crawdads.
Yeah, the crawdads. As an animal lover, yeah. As an animal lover, I used to like try to save some of the crawfish from getting just thrown into their warm deaths. I would like put them in the backyard. Sometimes I'd find them again. Sometimes they would be dead. But I tried my best to save as many as I can. Then you throw them in the boiling water. they slowly like whimper away. Their tails are supposed to curl up. If their tail doesn't curl up, that means they were dead before you put them in the water.
Oops.
You're not supposed to eat those.
Don't eat them.
Don't eat them.
Oh, that's a good fact.
It's a good fact.
That's like clams that don't open.
Exactly. Just don't eat them. Stay away from the straight-tailed crawfish. That means they were dead before they hit the water.
You could say that about people.
They were dead
Not
before
in
they hit the
general.
water.
No, but like stay away from this type of person. They were dead before they hit the water. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just not a good person.
Yeah, I think that we should like normalize that sentence.
Stay away from the straight-tailed people.
They're weird.
Oh,
They-
God.
yeah.
I don't know. This
Those
is
straight
taking a
tailors,
turn. Those
you know who they
straight-tailed
voted
people.
for?
For the record, I actually
Oh,
wasn't
here we
mentioning
go.
anybody.
I know you
particular.
weren't.
I'm thinking of.
I can think of a few people in my head that would be a straight-tailed crawfish.
Okay.
I'm not going to mention those people,
No,
but
yeah.
I'm going to keep them up here.
Yeah.
So back to basketball. Weirdly, you
Thank you.
also played overseas a lot, right? Like you've traveled the world.
Travel the world, I would say. Yeah.
What's your favorite place ever? That's not your hometown and not your new hometown, Las Vegas. So we'll keep
My
you
favorite
as
place
long
that
as-
I've seen, the Great Wall of China was way more impressive than I could have imagined it to be.
Have you ever like listened to or like prior to that anything about the Great Wall and all that?
I watched like a very small documentary leading up to it. Also like what we know about it, just like in our childhood, elementary school is what we learned about the Great Wall. But it was
Epic.
huge. And just like it goes way further than your eye can see. And the fact that it was man-made just blows my mind. And it was incredible. It was just this massive structure that's still around.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool to see. And it was very hard to walk. It was excruciating to get up all those stairs. So I couldn't imagine even putting that together.
I can't imagine what a regular person feels like going up those stairs. Who's not a trained athlete, world champion,
Yeah.
144.
It's hard, and it's peaks and valleys. You got to ride it, and then you get a little downhill and gives you a little bit momentum until you got to hit that uphill slope again. And sometimes those uphill slopes are stairs. So the Great Wall was really cool, but I think my overall favorite country would be Israel. It's a beautiful country.
Why?
Where I stayed, I was in a city called Ashdod, and I was 2 blocks off the beach. There's coastline everywhere. You can get anywhere you want in Israel relatively quickly. I'd say you can drive from the top of the country to the bottom of the country, I think within 5 hours. But everything from the historical side of like Jerusalem to the party side of Tel Aviv to like the beach oasis and the Dead Sea was really cool. I floated in it. I didn't believe it until I did it myself. And it was a really cool feat. Yeah.
From New Orleans to floating in the Dead Sea.
It was
It's nuts when you think about it, right?
I never left the United States until my junior year of college. I made a USA team and we played in Russia. That was my first time leaving the United States. And I never really saw myself as like the type of person that would be okay with leaving and traveling. It's just kind of like
Not just
unfamiliar
leaving.
territory.
You're gone for months at a time.
Yeah. And you have to like kind of indulge and live the lifestyle and, you know, walk to the grocery store, bring your groceries back, learn how to live like not a Costco lifestyle.
No, but I used to, there was a point in my life where I was like all over the globe doing stuff. And I used to tell people towards the end, like there's only so many $18 airport hamburgers you could eat before it's like, this isn't fun anymore. So besides something like that, but like what's something most people wouldn't realize let me ask you a better question. Had you not traveled, right, and been traveled, like what's something that you realized being traveled that most people don't realize back home? That's something because, I don't know, the first couple of times I left, it really changed how I look at everything. So something like that, right? Like,
I think that you just like realize that like where you are is like just such a small portion of the world. And there's just like so much that you don't know, even as like well studied as people are, as much as people like try to read and educate themselves, traveling the world and seeing things for yourself and being able to experience different people and like understand where they've been, how they live their lives, how they got to the point that they're at, has like taught me a lot and kind of gives you perspective on life. And also we have a lot of things that are like catered to us here in America. The convenience of America is very real. And in Europe and in China and other places that I've played, like you have to do everything yourself. There's no like DoorDash. There's no like one-stop shop. If you want groceries, you go to the grocery store. If you need electrical stuff, you go to an electric store. If you need tools, you go to a hardware store. There's no Walmart. There's no one-stop shop.
It's like 1930s, 40s, 50s America.
Yeah.
You go to the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
Yes.
Right?
That's it. Sometimes if you go to bigger cities, they'll have, there was a place I just recently played in Tenerife, one of the Canary Islands. It's a beautiful place. Really loved it a lot. They have a store called El Campo, and I would consider that to be like the European Walmart. It had like a little Best Buy section in there, and it was produce and like the freezer sections, but it had a little bit of everything. So that would be one of the places I was like, yeah, that was a one-stop shop. But I've lived in places where in Turkey, for example, my apartment was right above a fruit stand, and I got fresh juice for 3 lira every morning, which at the time the dollar was 1 to 4 lira. So I was getting a liter of juice for like cents.
Like legit juice.
75 of
Like
them.
freshly squeezed juice. I saw him do my pomegranate, my oranges, my apples,
no corn
everything.
syrup, no additives,
Straight
no
juice.
extra, like real deal food stuff.
The best thing at that fruit stand though was this thing called banana milk. I don't know what it was. It was made with bananas and milk, I'm assuming, and a lot of sugar. It was like a banana milkshake, and it was phenomenal. Legit. So if you ever go to Adana, Turkey, make sure you get a banana milkshake.
I'll tell them Theresa sent me.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh shit, we've been wondering where she's been.
We missed her. We haven't seen her since 2014.
Yeah, like Jesus. I'm sure all them shakes we've been lining up are moldy by now.
Yeah. I'm sure they've taken a hit.
Yeah.
I was funding them, I would say, multiple times a day.
Single-handedly keeping the Turkish fruit stand in business.
Exactly.
I get a couple of real estate questions, but before I jump in there, I want to
Go for it.
No, like, because we were talking about real estate before this and maybe at lunch or something downstairs, but you really like real estate.
Enjoy it.
Like, not only do you like it, but like, you know your shit.
I have a weird question. Do you drive around and look at property places?
Sometimes I'll like ride around neighborhoods and check out houses. Yeah, I'm one of those creeps.
No, we do that too.
No,
Okay, great.
no, you're,
Chris and I like go places to interview people and then end up spending half a day driving around randomly looking at stuff.
Love that.
Or like, since he's an agent, he'll get like alerts about like open houses. He's like, let's go.
let's go check it out.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not walk into an open house?
Let me ask you this, and I'm combining kind of what you do for a living and real estate and mental stuff, not to get too woo, but the reason why I like doing that so much and why it's so ingrained, it's because it's your environment, it's your surroundings. It's kind of like getting me into the mindset of like, this is how it should be because this is what my life is, all that woo stuff, right? Like, do you do the same in real estate, or do you see a crossover with what you do professionally, that whole mindset thing?
I don't know. I don't necessarily see it. I think I just have a very high interest in it. And it sparks me, like never having a real job, being like a professional athlete. There's no structure. It's just like, if you want to train, you train. And if you don't, then that's on you. And you're risking getting a better or worse job because of it. If you want to put your body through whatever, that's on you. And if you don't, that's on you. How you show up to your employer is 100% on you. I've never had a job that's been somebody asked something of me and I have to like do it.
Yeah.
From like a work standpoint.
Yeah.
Like people need me to make some shots, grab a few rebounds, but I've never been like, your deadline's on Friday for you to have your basketball report in. I've never had to do a basketball report. They don't have that. It's not. So the life aspect of like being a real estate agent or being involved in real estate, being involved in architecture.
As an investor or
yes,
developer even.
Absolutely. Sparks my interest highly. And it's something that, the WNBPA has kind of tried to pull me into taking some like Yale real estate classes to just see if it's
The what?
it's a Yale real estate
No,
class.
I know what Yale is. Thank you.
Yale.
The W what?
WNBPA.
Want to tell us what that is?
It's the Players Association, just like our union. We're unionized. The W has a union, and
Is that a good thing?
it is. We try to fight for everything that we can. You know, there's obviously some discrepancies between men and women. I don't know if you've been around the world in the past, like ever since its existence, but I just feel like women have had a little bit more to prove than guys. The same thing in the W, but the WNBPA, we've done a lot of good things. We've tried to push the CBA, still trying to push it a little bit further and trying to get the most out of it for everybody in the league and make it a league where, you know, you can sustain a lifestyle that you want to live as a professional athlete and not have to, you know, take your talents overseas and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. So the entity, if you will, they're the ones that are like, yo, you need to take these real estate classes, or they suggested it as
They try to help
career
you.
guidance advice type of.
Right.
Okay.
So like in the W, there's some people that are interested in like off season, like marketing things, off season, like internships.
Yeah.
So they provide internships and like different spectrums. Like there's everything from like NASA to fashion and everything in between. So it's whatever you want. They can try to find it for you. They just try to find what your interests are. They're actually doing a really great job of trying to help players, trying to mend that gap between playing and just entering the real world. Because a lot of us are about to start a new career as a rookie, being 30 plus year old women with zero workplace experience.
Yeah.
So that's an issue. I don't know.
It's a hard adjustment.
It's a hard adjustment. I think
It's nice
that
that
Is it-
it's there to like ease you through it and try to at least help, like break your fall.
I hope.
It's like being institutionalized, right?
Haven't gotten there
Kind
yet.
of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's like being institutionalized.
Somewhat, yeah. Like, and I talked to like some people about this too. Like as an athlete, sometimes like we have things that are just like given to us that we don't necessarily deserve. Like I get pushed in front of my doctor's lines because I don't know, maybe they think athletes have more to do with their day.
Yeah.
They're like, we know you have important workouts tonight. Let's squeeze you in, push you in front of the line. Do I feel bad when I get pulled to the front of a 12 person MRI line? Absolutely. But do I want to wait 12 people deep? Absolutely not.
Can I defend you for a hot second?
Yeah.
So growing up, my dad owned a sporting goods store here. It was the biggest one in Vegas before there was Sports Authority. So I grew up in this. He had pros, Yankees, this is in the 80s, work in the off season because they didn't make what they make now. With that said, you bust your freaking ass for the fans, for the city, for the team. Like to me, and I could be biased because
Give
of
me
how
a
I
sec.
grew up.
Give me a sec. The other thing is, not to toot Teresa's own horn, but like Teresa shows up in the you show up in the off season pretty heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you turn down opportunities to be there for people.
With all that said,
I don't.
cut in front of the line if they're going to offer it. Who cares?
Do it. I
Good.
do it.
Good.
feel
Because
bad
that's what you
about
worked
it.
hard for. Like that type
did.
of shit to happen.
But this is the thing. When I'm 50 years old, Teresa, let's say I'm retired then, who knows?
you get the back of the line like everyone else.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing some baller shit for your town, for your city.
So am I going to have to go to therapy and talk to my therapist about like what it was like to be at the front of that line and now what it's like to have to wait those?
No, I actually shouldn't say that, but I get your point. At some point, you can't, and that's why you of all
adjust.
people could get there because you can handle the power. You know, it's like, you know what? No, this lady should obviously go in front of me. I haven't played in 15 years. Why am I still cutting at this doctor's office?
It's an old injury. We're just
Exactly.
looking at
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, I don't even know how we or how
I
to
don't
get
know how
us
we
back.
got to cutting old people in line for an MRI, but we got here.
But just know it's like I do it, but it doesn't feel good.
But you,
I want to put that on the
Because you're a
on the
good
record.
person. No, it's on the record. That's why we didn't say anything.
but you're appreciative.
I'm very appreciative and like I think about them and I like pray for them when I leave. I'm like I just hope their experience was as great as mine.
The gunshot victim you walked past, you mean?
Yeah. When I was just walking in because my wrist was a little sore one day. Can we just check this out?
Yeah, I got a game in 15 minutes, like Coolio when he sang.
Coolio.
So let me just say something about this.
R.I.P. Coolio. We're
Yes.
not talking about the poor dead man.
No.
He did
We
bring
missed
a
him a
child.
lot.
Here, but this is what when he played that night, when he sang his songs and he brought his kid,
He didn't sing songs, Chris. He sang one song.
when he sang his one hit song, that was amazing, by the way.
Everybody
It
loves
felt
it.
like he was driving home from Target or Michael's and somebody called him from the association, like, yo, can you come sing this real quick? And he's such a true professional. He just came, he's told his daughter, he's like, yo, I got to just sing this real quick and then we can get back home. Didn't it feel like that in a sense?
I was in the locker room. I unfortunately didn't get to see one of Coolio's last performances of all time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It may have been his last one of all time.
I don't know, but that's an Aces exclusive right there. If I've ever heard one.
You know what? That's true. Because that was a couple months later he passed.
It wasn't like a couple months. It was like a couple weeks.
Oh, wow.
It was a hard day for the Aces
Because
and the world.
Yeah. Yes.
And the world.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
I think I'd just take on the one.
Why? You want a Clydesdale-sized duck?
That's what
Honestly,
you're dealing with.
it seems interesting. Like, would you be able to ride it
She's
and
the
take it
second
for a
one.
flight? Or take it for,
A flight?
you could take it for a flight. You could also take it for a boat ride or a duck ride.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because this is the most genius. She asked this.
We
and
have
asked
asked
this.
hundreds of people this, and no one has ever talked about going on a duck ride.
Or a boat ride.
I'm just trying to like spin it. Like,
I love it.
if we're trying to like, you ride horses, right? You can ride a horse.
You can.
You
I
can
don't.
take a horse.
I
You
have
can
a
go to
back
the Grand
injury for this
Canyon and it can tiptoe that very steep ledge. I will not do it. I feel bad. Feel like it's not the horse's problem that I'm 6'5" and it shouldn't have to carry me. I can walk myself. But if there was a duck trying to offer those same services,
The duck is trying to kill you.
but what if you just like
Talk it out
tamed
of it.
it?
Oh,
You,
Tamed it.
like you were saying
Played your
earlier.
recorder. Did you pull out and you're like, doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yes.
And the duck's
Or-
like, oh my God, hop on my back.
What if you just brought a duck psychic? You said there's dog psychics earlier. For this hypothetical, I'm bringing in the duck psychic and I'm going to tame that duck and I'm going to make it my own
I don't like doing hypotheticals.
domestic
with-
horse duck.
You know what? That makes sense.
This question went wrong.
His name is
No, it
Donald.
didn't, but
His name is
like-
going to be Donald. Donald Duck.
I think that's copyrighted.
What was the other one about the kids?
Daffy.
The waves?
Also copyrighted.
I can't think of it
Waves,
anymore.
I don't even want to ask her. She won't fight a child. I know that.
No. Wait a
The
minute.
other
No, she
question we
would.
ask is about
I would fight a
fight-
child over an old person.
That's when we were talking earlier.
Okay,
She
yeah,
picked
yeah.
the kids.
Yeah, you picked 110-year-olds over 10 100-year-olds to
Yeah.
have to decimate.
Sorry. Yeah. The kids have to go.
That's fair.
Old people are just, there's a lot of information there and there's a lot of experience there. I would want to pick those brains and know more about them. 10-year-olds don't do much for me besides get on my nerves.
So you just,
That's fair.
yeah. No, yeah.
Are you a lover of children then?
I do love children.
You do though.
That was a misleading statement. I really love children. It just depends on the 10-year-old. But for this hypothetical, I'm just going to make it like the most annoying 10-year-old I could imagine.
That's what I did with the old people. That's why I chose them.
Okay.
I was
so
like,
it's
what's the most nastiest?
Scrooge.
Exactly. I line them up. I even texted her. I said, line them up. I'll stomp them all out.
Yeah.
I can't, even if the kid's a prick.
we can't
Still
say
a
we're going to
kid.
stomp out old people on this show.
In this hypothetical.
It is a hypothetical. It's a safe space, safe hypothetical space.
Yeah. VCS
fair.
Studios. Safe space.
We're good.
I have a hypothetical for you, a fun one.
Okay.
You're able to develop anything you want in your hometown. It could be an apartment, real estate question. It could be an apartment complex. It could be anything. Like, what does your hometown need? And I'm saying that as someone who loves their hometown as much as I love Vegas, my hometown. I'm constantly thinking of this would be dope here. That would be dope here. So taking all of that and some of the stuff that you've picked up along the way from your world travels, like what does New Orleans need? What do you guys need down there from a architecture and building perspective?
Oh no.
From like a good food perspective.
Okay.
I think we need a kava. I don't know if anybody's ever been to kava. It's like a Mediterranean Chipotle.
We don't have that here.
Where's that at?
No, we don't have that here. Vegas also needs one. There's a few in DC.
Okay.
I think they're like more like East Coast. I think there's some in like LA. I know there's a few in Texas.
Kava, you can reach out at the Cerrone Show.
Kava, keep doing what you're doing. Where's the camera? Kava, keep up the good work. You guys bring it every day, and I would eat your meals every single day if I could.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to now try this for
Tough
Kava.
endorsement.
Kava,
So you bring them in?
You walk into this Mediterranean Chipotle, you go down your assembly line and you pick your basmati rice and your lentils and your falafel and your lamb.
I'm into it.
And then you go and you get your Kamala olives and your pickled cabbage and your feta cheese.
There's
and your
one right here. It's not that place though. I'm not taking away from them, but literally they just opened 2 months ago on Sunset and Pecos.
We gotta check it out.
What is it?
It's the Chipotle, what she's talking about. It's weird. You walk in.
What's the name? Meza.
No, it's called, I don't know. When we're done, I'll look it up. But
Okay.
it's literally, it feels like Chipotle. It's
Teresa will be eating there today.
It's right
see.
next to the Starbucks that you guys passed on the way here.
You know,
Is it where Olives used to be?
I think so. And it's halal, all that stuff. It's so legit. Like I've eaten it because the neighbors told me about it. And I'm like,
I'm gonna have to check that out.
anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Not to take away from them, but
I've tried a few places. They have some imposters, I would say, that tried to be Kava and didn't quite meet that level. So I'm really.
I was married to an Armenian girl for a time and I was in her family for a time. So I'm judging it off of like,
I can't believe we're having this.
the way she found out was like, but I'm judging it off of like, would they eat this shit?
Yes.
And it's like,
I lived for 9 months in Turkey and I lived for probably like 7
Drink the
months in
coffee?
Israel. I tried it. It's very thick.
I know. Did you get your fortune told and all that?
No,
They cook it out of a jazvat, the whole thing.
I saw it. I couldn't down it though.
It's like crack.
It was heavy. I got some from my mom. She was like, I love coffee. The stronger, the better. I was like, oh yes, sis, we'll check this one out. She hasn't opened it.
It'll
She
put
like
hair on
smelled
your
it.
chest,
Yeah.
regardless of who you are.
It changes your life.
It does.
And don't even ask to put like anything in it. Like, they look at you like you're crazy. I'm like, can I get some creamer? What's that?
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to interrupt. You lived in Turkey.
I know a good Mediterranean diet. I appreciate great Mediterranean food. It's one of my favorites. Israel and Turkey.
Why
Never would leave.
don't you open your own? I'll tell you something after. I don't want this on, but like, sorry, go ahead.
I need to look into
I'm
it.
thinking of the chicken guy. Same thing.
The rotisserie guy?
No. I don't want to say his
We'll talk
name.
about it
Yeah, we'll
later.
talk about it after. But like,
I know what he's talking about.
she's got the same a bigger platform than he does.
Sure, we'll talk about it.
Okay, sorry.
I want to know what my hypothetical name would have been. And
What are you talking about?
if
Teresa's Tabbouleh?
before we found out about the chicken guy and we heard his name,
Uh-huh.
he was known as a chicken guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you?
What would I be?
The Mediterranean.
No, she can't be the Mediterranean girl, Chris.
Well-
That's misleading.
I didn't even think of that.
That's misleading.
Oh my God. I didn't even think of that. You're absolutely right.
The tzatziki girl?
Yeah. Well,
I can't.
I don't know, but that would be fun because that's something marketable.
It is.
Because we told you his name. That's his name.
Yeah.
And it works.
It's good stuff.
Right?
And it's not from the place. That's just his name.
Yeah.
thought
He's
for-
not even from there. In fact,
Months.
I think he is from that part of the land that we're talking about.
What would the nickname?
He's going to be on the show.
be?
That's why we're doing this because I don't want to blow it.
Of course.
But anyway, go ahead. What'd you say?
What would your nickname be? Wouldn't be vacuum setter upper.
It would be.
So, but
Anyway,
so
we should move on.
Yeah, so
Cut this out.
You
Thank
you get your new food place. Are you doing anything commercial in this Sims world we're building in NOLA?
What is one thing?
That's a better question.
Here we go. What one thing would you take from your new hometown of Las Vegas back to New Orleans? That's not me, obviously.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Give me a sec.
Rough. Immediately.
What have I enjoyed most about Vegas? The mountains. I went to Red Rock.
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful. We don't have mountains at all, especially.
Have you been to Mount Charleston?
No. I'm trying to go see the meteor shower tonight, though.
I heard.
It's supposed to be a lot of fun.
Teresa asked me if I was going to do that, and I told her I could have been at 9 o'clock. I said, no, it's after 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I said it's a once in a lifetime thing, and she said it happens once a year.
Does it?
A meteor shower?
Yeah.
It happened all year, yes.
Oh.
But
Yeah, but there's supposed to be like 250 meteors per hour.
So it's the machine gun of meteors.
That's what I'm,
They're just firing off. She don't like my analogies ever.
no, I'm just trying to picture someone with a machine gun.
Just shooting dead stars all over the place.
Yeah.
It's one of those straight tail people shooting stars up there.
it's the universe. I'm sure that's it's out there.
Have you ever seen a meteor shower before?
No.
There's a lot of waiting. It's not a game for an inpatient.
I know. My patience has, as an athlete, we all know the MRI thing, the skipping to the front of the line. We have very thin patience.
Teresa called, was like, excuse me, can we get the meteors here immediately though? I don't have time for this.
Is it thin patience or is it you're impatient of incompetence? Like this shit just needs to get done.
The universe isn't incompetent.
Debatable.
I hate you, Teresa.
That's interesting.
We're getting really deep.
Into
the universe.
Oh. What is your favorite thing from New Orleans you would bring here?
I think Vegas needs like a Mardi Gras. I feel like they would.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, is it like a big deal?
Oh yeah.
It's
a big deal
is
for
it like
everybody.
a big deal?
I get what you're saying, but like in terms of everyone and their mom coming down and drinking
Yeah.
and partying, it's New Year's Eve for us.
Yeah.
Okay, do y'all have like festivals? I feel like Louisiana, we do a bunch of festivals. Like we look for reasons to eat food and drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, oh, strawberries, let's have a big festival.
My son's named after a festival.
Really?
He's named after a martyr saint. It's Italian, but they happen to have the San Gennaro festival.
Okay.
Yeah, we have that kind of stuff, but I don't feel like it's
not big, right?
it's not that big.
It's in a
We
parking
have like
lot.
a county fair.
No.
They're usually in parking lots with those rides that travel around town that should take four screws, but there's three holding it up,
Yeah.
and then like an Allen wrench.
piece of gum.
Exactly.
Lodged
We
in
have a lot of that, like at food festivals and stuff, but nothing big.
For example, I'm from a city right outside of New Orleans. Like I could throw a rock and hit it from where I'm from. It's called
Because you're a
Gretna.
Professional athlete.
Yeah. Well, I have a cannon. I wanted to be an NFL quarterback, but
You didn't want to
I didn't want to
puncture
get hit
holes
by
in
the
it.
boys. Yeah. The boys seemed a little rough. Anyway, so we have
It's hard to find a good quarterback.
It's tough. I'm available though for any teams that need a quarterback. Call me. I'm 6'5". I can see over the O-line. Anyway, so I'm from this little small city named Gretna. No one's heard of Gretna probably in this room.
No.
But Gretna had a Gretna Festival. And guess who was at Gretna Festival? The Beach Boys were.
Really?
This year?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
This year?
The Beach Boys came to Gretna Fest. It was a great time. There's a lot of local artists that show up. There was like 3 or 4 stages.
Yeah.
Like that.
But was it a big deal that the Beach Boys show up?
Beach Boys ain't showing up, no.
Well, I think there's like a Beach Boy left. I think it's just one.
We had 3-6
Boy?
Mafia show up once to a festival.
Oh, that's a big deal.
We really did actually. I saw it. It was a festival. This is like 15 years ago. It was on the Sippin' on Scissor era. But they came to a festival.
I wonder how many festivals are coming to these days.
Is that what we need? When I say we, is just in a society, we need more outdoor things to do to
I
connect.
think just naturally
Music?
we should.
We don't have a good outdoor life here because of the things that you talked about. Like,
Yeah, the severe heat and then the severe freezing weather in the winter. Who knew?
it is a little chilly.
Yeah, well, who knew that like 3 weeks difference from when I won the championship to when I showed back up to start training again that I was going to need a full jacket? Not me. No one told me that I was going to have to trade in my tank tops for Canadian geese jackets.
It's that abrupt.
It's very it
It caught me off guard. It caught me off guard.
I'm sorry that we did that to you. On behalf of my hometown, I would like to apologize.
I'll accept it.
So what do you, as we started coming up on our time, what are you excited about in the future for Theresa? Not necessarily the team, not necessarily, it has nothing to do with anybody, but just what are you happy about for you, for your life, for your future?
What I'm most excited about is Thanksgiving coming up. I get to see my family, and
Hell
that's
yeah.
very like near future. I get to spend some time with Chip.
I think
He's my
people
dog.
forget that with your job, when's the last time you were home for a holiday?
We all had this thing called the pandemic, so that required us all to be home. But prior to
I was
that, sorry that happened to you.
Thank you. You too.
I mean, we all made it. We're here to tell the tale,
It's
right?
like the best thing that
we
ever
can
happened.
talk about it.
It sounds horrific, but it was like the best thing that ever happened to me.
It was fun at first until it wasn't fun anymore.
I like that.
Yeah.
I want to paint that on that wall
It was fun at first
until it wasn't anymore.
until it wasn't. But yeah, we don't have, for example, I've had 2 Christmases within the past 5 years that I've had a game on Christmas Day, and I was told, "Happy Christmas. We need you to score 20 points and
get out there."
Exactly. Do your best. So that's happened a few times. So holidays are very important for me. Any opportunity that I have to be able to spend time with my immediate family, my extended family, it's always a lot of fun. I also, future Theresa wants to be able to get up and do a stand-up comedy thing, just an open mic night one night, walk up and try to do like a 5-minute, but I don't want anybody to know me. I just want to like walk up. I want to be mistaken for somebody else.
Can I connect you with somebody? You don't even have to tell anybody. I'll just connect you with them, and then you can go
On a random mic night and just like see if I can make people laugh.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, let's do it. I want to try it. My good friend Sydney Colson has tried to convince me to do it. She did it one time. She's absolutely hysterical.
Do it, because it's one of the things that's on my bucket list that I'll probably in reality will never do.
Well, let's like me and you. Let's go get some facial hair. You already got that going. I can disguise mine.
Incognito.
Yeah, let's just like
You're gonna
switch
get
up our
facial
looks.
hair.
We'll slap a wig on you.
Can Ashley come?
Yeah, Ashley, you have to dress up
My
though.
security blanket.
I like how it took her a minute. Like it was like, Ashley can come.
Well,
Fine.
to be fair, it's supposed to be where you're not
guess.
judged or whatever. I get it.
And we're going to sign the NDA that we're not going to talk about what happened that night.
Real quick, is it after 9 p.m.? Because that would solidly.
You're going to have to push it. You're going to have to push
It'll
it.
be late, especially walk-ons like that. It'll probably be like 10, 11 o'clock before we even hit the stage.
No. I think
I went to do it before. I just chickened out with the same guy that I'll connect to.
not to be funny. I mean, Chris and I travel a lot together. Is that day we were in Tahoe and we ate dinner at 9 o'clock the latest you've ever seen me be awake?
That was probably the latest I've seen you awake that many times in a row.
Yeah, we were up a couple nights in a row.
Yes, but I will say you're a freaking champ.
I rallied.
You rallied,
Wow.
even when she didn't have to.
And the queso dip was green.
She walked away. I'm like talking to that lady, and she thought we were crying. Like she had to put up with all
Chris
that
finds
stuff.
people in the middle of the street and befriends them.
I like people. I just,
And you were eating green queso?
So we get to Tahoe. It was late. We'd been doing stuff. And first Chris insulted
the guy
server at
insulted
one
himself.
restaurant. No.
He just
Chris
was.
got us kicked out of a restaurant.
He was upset.
There was only one place to eat and the queso was green.
Let me ask you a question. Every place in that, have you been
Area.
there, right? Like all that place in Tahoe is packed. There's one place not packed. When I say packed, like New
That's
Year's
not
Eve,
what happened. That's not what happened.
not packed. We walk
Not
up
what happened.
and I'm like,
That's not what happened.
what happened?
We put our name on lists at 4 restaurants and we were like, this is just our life now. We're
Because
gonna
it's all
wait.
packed.
And we walk up to this place and I was like, how long is the wait? And he said, we can seat you now. And Chris abruptly says, what's wrong with this place that no one wants to eat here?
That's a fair question.
And he
Is it a
got
fair question out loud?
What was your shortest wait?
45 minutes?
And he offered you a table right
Walk
away.
right in.
And then with
By the way,
Venom.
both sides of him packed. And then
Venom
it's like, walk right
in
in.
his voice
Oh, he got
said,
pissed.
we happen to be the biggest restaurant down here. So we have a lot of table space. And Chris was like, no. I don't know. I don't know.
We're not buying it.
And then we couldn't eat there.
Look, it all could have been very well true. but he should have just been quicker than me and been like,
Yeah.
or at least not got so upset about it. He got so offended. He turned us off to the point, because we even said like, well, our food will probably get fucked with, and it didn't need to happen. I genuinely was
Nonetheless,
curious.
I was up past 9 o'clock was the moral of the
She's
story.
she's a rally champ.
That's why you're upset about it.
Yeah.
I'm not upset. I'm just saying I think that's the latest he's seen me up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
That's why like I love an Aces game, is because they start at a reasonable hour and they're not 5 hours long. I can be home by 9:30.
I mean, how do you feel about the weekend games?
Which ones?
What's your ideal start time?
2 p.m.
I could do 2.
Noon.
No, noon's really hard for us as athletes.
Why?
You know how you just like get dressed and show up at the game? Our warm-ups start 2 hours before. That means we have to be at the gym 2.5 hours before. That means you're waking up, doing breakfast, doing your whole pregame morning routine, starting very early.
What's very early?
For me,
Yeah.
ideally, if I have to wake up before 8, it's a hard day for me. And it happens far too often. As an athlete that's had 2 back surgeries, sleep is a value. And I try to get my sleep in.
You
And
had 2 back surgeries.
She has similar back problems that I have. We talk about it a lot.
mine are great though.
Hers are way worse than mine.
I hear great and worse. Which one is it?
Like,
Are they both?
I have 0 issues.
Yeah.
okay.
I have pain here and there. I would say since my back surgery, I have, shout out to Dr. Angelo, did a hell of a job.
Moved to the front of the line.
My goodness, yeah.
That's the culprit.
Dr. Angelo, let me tell you what happened. One morning, I needed surgery, and this was like the day that they just started allowing elective surgeries to happen again right after the COVID. They allow elective surgeries. Dr. Angelo knew my season was starting, and there was a waiting list because of all the elective surgeries, right?
Yeah.
And I got put on the table that morning to get sliced open and fixed. And I was. And here I am, a recovered back problemer.
Congratulations.
With a ring.
And I have hardware. Not in my back though.
Really?
Yep. I am all natural. Actually, I have a screw in my knee. But I don't have to tell people at TSA that it's not big enough, they said.
Yeah.
It's nothing to brag about. It's just a small screw.
What did we learn today?
What did we learn today?
Let's take away our top 3 things that we learned.
Yeah.
We do this at the end of every show.
Yeah, I feel like we learned so freaking much.
We learned that Theresa thinks that you could ride a giant wild duck.
Hypothetically, it was possible.
I'm not saying
It's like,
it's not. I'm just saying
Never-Ending
we haven't had
Dragon?
anyone.
The luck dragon, Falcor. It's a
Falcor.
real life Falcor.
You can name the duck Falcor.
Yeah, because Daffy and Donald were already taken.
Yes. By other ducks.
Unfortunate.
Rude.
Falcor Jr.
I like it.
Baby Falcor.
We learned you love Vegas.
I love Vegas.
We learned that you're going to open up a amazing Mediterranean chain
Tava.
at some point
Tava.
in your future.
Tava's weird cousin.
Tava. Nobody take it. We said it right here, right now. It's 2:06. Are we allowed to say the time?
You're allowed to say whatever you
There we
want.
are, yeah.
It's 2:06 on the 18th of November. Is this my half birthday?
It is. Oh my
Really?
goodness. Happy half birthday.
Oh
It was
my
all
God.
meant
We
to
should
be.
celebrate
Yeah.
with like,
What are we going to do? We're going to go down to the place, the Tava,
Yep.
Vegas Tava, and we're going to check it out. Happy birthday to me.
I love it.
and you're going to see a meteor shower.
I'm halfway to 31, guys. Today.
You smoke.
My sister's 31.
Well, never catch up to her. She'll always be older than me.
It's fine. My Kyle, who you know, my boyfriend Kyle, is 1 month and 8 days older than me. And every year for 1 month and 8 days, I make jokes about how old he is.
Love that for you.
Thank you.
Do you really like make the most of every minute?
What do you think?
Yes. Okay.
There you go.
In all serious, can I be serious for a hot second?
We have a hard time with that.
I know, even myself, but in all true seriousness, I just wanted to personally thank you because this was all unexpected. You just honestly came to hang out and
This is fun.
support, and we had the hiccup, and it was meant to be.
It was a day.
Yeah, and
so thank you for showing
and
up
I'm
for
sure
us.
Somebody will be upset because we didn't ask this, that, and the other. And to that, I don't give a shit. The conversation went where it went, and I'm glad. Hopefully, you had a good time.
Had a great time.
Thank you. This was dope. So
I just showed up to see a really cool podcast studio, and I
got blown
was
the
a
hell
guest
away.
producer that just so happened to get bumped up to some FaceTime. So here we are.
You like that? See, so you know
That's
what?
a win.
I did a little bit of everything today.
You did.
She directed, she produced.
You did post it on social. I'm just assuming if you haven't posted on social, so
I
you can
did
check
post
that
on
out.
social today.
There you go.
Check you out.
So now Ashley and I will join the ranks of the doctor by bumping people up in line. Like you went from just spectator to producing the fucking guest, like boom.
Right away.
It was amazing.
I hope my post basketball career gets promoted as quickly as my job here has.
I hope your basketball career continues for as long as you want it to, though.
Yeah.
I'm shooting for about as long as these legs are moving. So will Big T. Find me on your local hardwoods.
That was good.
Got it.
That's the commercial right there. Oh, I love that.